Hello and welcome to Osaka University live session. My name is Yuriko Take and I'm from International Student Affairs Division at Osaka University. Before we begin, let me go over today's session schedule. First, our Regional Director of ASEAN Center for Academic Initiatives will make opening remarks. Next, our professors will introduce to Osaka University admission information, exchange programs, and student support services available for international students. Okay, now let's begin. The first speaker is Hisada Hitoshi, our Regional Director of ASEAN Center for Academic Initiatives. Hisada Sensei, the ball is in your court.
Thank you for introducing me. Hello, everyone. I am Hitoshi Hisada, Regional Director of ASEAN Center for Academic Initiatives. I'm in charge of international affairs in ASEAN region. So please allow me to say a few words for this online fair on behalf of Osaka University. First of all, I'd like to give a sincere welcome to everyone for EJE online fair. And I express my sincere appreciation to all the attendees here. Thank you very much. Though it has been a very tough time due to COVID-19, Osaka University is still wanting the excellent international students from all over the world. So we have this online fair in order to introduce Osaka University and let you know how wonderful university it is. And we would like to recruit the excellent international students in near future. Today, we will introduce many information regarding Osaka University. Also, we will have a group consultation session later. At last, I would like to again thank you for joining this online fair, and please enjoy it to the end. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hisada Sensei. Next presenter is Cho Sensei, who used to be a student at Osaka University and now an assistant professor at the Center for Global Initiatives. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. This is Cici Zhang from Osaka University. First, I want to show you where is Osaka City. Here you can see on the map, Osaka is located in Western Japan. It neighbors Kyoto and Nara, and it is the third biggest metropolitan city in Japan with a population of over 8 million. Next slide, please. Okay, and something you may not know about Osaka. First, Osaka has been ranked as the second most livable city in the world by the journal EIU in this year. Got high scores of it for its stability, healthcare, culture, environment, education, and infrastructure. And the second is, I think most of you know about this, is we have one of the 6 Universal Studio theme park in the world here in Osaka. And next one is instant noodles. Instant noodles were born in Osaka, Ikeda City here in 1958. So there's a very interesting cup noodles museum near our campus. And the last one is public transportation named Osaka Monorail. It runs around our 3 campuses, makes very convenient access. Next slide, please. Okay. Here, let me show you the history of Osaka University. Osaka University's root can go back further to private academies named Kaitokudo and Tekijuku, these 2 academies. And Osaka Imperial University was founded in 1931 as one of the 6 imperial universities at that time. And in 1949, renamed as Osaka University. And we merged with Osaka University of Foreign Studies in 2007 and became the only national university with comprehensive school of foreign studies with 25 languages. So this year, Osaka University turned 90 years old, and Osaka University of Foreign Studies turned 100 years old. Here you can see on the map, we have 3 campuses. In the northern part of Osaka, they are very close to each other and easily accessible using public transportation as well as our free shuttle bus. Our new Mino campus have moved to a new location from this April. Let me show you some pictures of our 3 campuses. Next slide, please. First, here you can see some photos of SITA campus. Since most of our research centers and institutes are here on SITA campus, so here there have many high buildings here on this campus with a lot of laboratories. And next, please. Toyonaka campus. Since our humanities fields are mainly on Toyonaka campus, such as law school and economics and letter school. So it has a different atmosphere with SITA campus. And also our museum is on Toyonaka campus. Next slide, please. And the last one is some photos from our new Mino campuses. Since our undergraduate school of foreign language studies and also graduate school of foreign language studies are here on new Mino campuses, so we have a lot of spaces for students to communicate and to study by themselves. Next slide, please. As a comprehensive research university in Japan, we have not only schools and undergraduate schools and graduate schools, and also many research institutes, centers, and facilities, such as Research Institute for Microbial Diseases, and Joining and Welding Research Institute, and International Center for Biotechnology, and other facilities. Next slide, please. Okay, here we have 2 hospitals. Both of them are on SITA campus. One is Osaka University Hospital, and the other one is Dental Hospital. And also we have 4 libraries on 3 campuses. The main library is on Toyonaka campus, and we have Science and Engineering Library, and also Life Science Library here on SITA campus. And another one named International Studies Library is on our new Mino campus. Okay, thank you. And as a large-scale national university with we have more than 15,000 undergraduate students and more than 8,000 graduate students. And also we have more than 7,000 faculty members here. Next slide, please. And according to this year's data, we have, as you can see here, we have more than 2,600 international students from more than 100 different countries. The majority of them are from Asia, but still we have other international students from like Europe, Africa, Central and South America, Middle East, North America, and Oceania. Next slide, please. Okay. Here you can see we have different kinds of field here of our undergrad schools and graduate schools. We have 11 undergrad schools. The study period the general study period of them are 4 years, but some of them, like medicine school, take 6 years to finish. And we have 18 graduate schools. Here you can see like law, economics, and frontier biosciences and engineering, and some others. And for master course, it takes 2 years to finish. And for doctor course, it takes generally takes 3 years to finish. Thank you. This is from me.
Thank you, Cho Sensei. Next presenter is also a graduate of Osaka University, Clement Sensei from Center for Global Initiatives. Please go ahead.
Thank you. So I will explain about some strategic research areas that have been promoted by the university. So although we are developing many research fields by establishing world-class research hubs, These are four of the main or strategic research areas that are currently being promoted heavily by university. The first one is immunology. This is kind of an old slide, I think, but there's also another focus in infectious diseases. And this is embodied by IFREC and RIMD, and we have a new center called CIDER that focuses on infectious diseases. The second one is the translational and reverse translational medicine in the center of, we know the new center called IFREMED, or this is part of the Graduate School of Medicine. And also symbiotic intelligence system embodied by CISREC. And this center works on AI, robotics, neuroscience, and also human-robot interaction. And the last but not least is quantum information science and quantum biology in QIQB. I will briefly introduce some of these centers. Next, please. Right, so IFREC is, or the Immunology Frontier Research Center, was established in 2007 through the World Premier International Research Center program, which was funded by the government until 2017. Now, from April 2017, the center entered a new era, promoting more on the translational part of the research into the clinical, to be used in the clinics. And they have established or secured large contracts with several pharmaceutical companies. Distinguished IFREC researchers are shown here, have been awarded many high-profile awards that showcase their outstanding research achievements. The Institute now has the mission to combine multiple disciplines in combating diseases by advancing human-centered research, fostering young researchers, and also promoting globalization. Next, please. The Integrated Frontier Research for Medical Science Division, or IFREMED, was established quite recently in 2017 as a cross-disciplinary division of the Graduate School of Medicine. And the aim is to advance the development of regenerative medicine, gene therapy, and bioimaging, and to apply the acquired knowledge for clinical practice, and also society. The leader of this center is Professor Koji Nishida. He's currently leading a team that is conducting the world's first transplant of cornea, eye cornea, made from iPS cells. So iPS is induced pluripotent stem cells. And another well-established researcher in this center is Professor Sawa. He is also leading a team that is currently doing the first in the world for clinical research or clinical trial of transplantation of heart cells made from iPS cells. Next, please. The Symbiotic Intelligence Systems Research Center was established to combine multiple interdisciplinary fields, including cognitive science, neuroscience, social sciences, and human-oriented robotics. And the research works done in this field focus on the development of soft robots or androids made to interact with humans in a daily basis. This center is led by Professor Hiroshi Ishiguro, and he is known as the father of humanoids, and also Professor Minoru Asada as the administrative director of the center. So not only developing androids for human interaction, this center also tries to understand humanity through the analysis of various aspects in human-robot interactions. Next, please. Last but not least, quantum computing is a field that has been growing rapidly in recent years, and Osaka University has established the Center for Quantum Information Science and Quantum Biology. The center is led by Professor Masahiro Kitagawa and also Professor Keisuke Fuji, both of which are well-known researchers in quantum information science. The center consists of 6 research groups where researchers from multidisciplinary fields, so basically experts in different fields, that come together and work together to solve problems in biology and chemistry through the development and use of quantum computing algorithms. Next, please. Now, as a university that has close ties with the industry, Osaka University has established a comprehensive partnership system in which companies can provide research funds that can be used to conduct basic and applied research within the scope of the fund. 3 examples are shown here, 2 in the field of immunology and 1 in IT. Next, please. In the international front, we have established 4 overseas centers in Groningen in the Netherlands, in Bangkok, Thailand, Shanghai, China, and California and USA. These centers explore and maintain collaborative projects with our global partner institutions. Next, please. As an effort to strengthen our presence in the Southeast Asian region, we have established 4 ASEAN campuses in Vietnam, in Thailand, Indonesia, and also Brunei Darussalam. These campuses organize collaborative projects that aim to solve complex issues in society. Next, please. Right. So in education, the primary language used in Osaka University is, of course, Japanese, because it's a Japanese university. However, international students have some options to study in English. At the undergraduate level, we have 1 program, the Human Science International Undergraduate Degree Program. It's conducted entirely in English, which will be explained in more details later. And also another program in science, in chemistry, math, and physics, that is conducted in both languages, in English and also in Japanese. This will also be explained later. At the graduate level, we have more programs offered in English. There are 12 programs in total across 4 graduate schools. We also have several non-degree programs, exchange programs in English as shown here. Next, please. Right, so I will explain briefly about how applicants can apply to our undergraduate degree programs, including the Japanese regular programs. So it really depends on what kind of student you are. If you are lucky enough to secure a Japanese government scholarship, you can come to Japan to receive a preparatory education in Japanese language for a year. So this is the leftmost scheme. Okay, then you take an entrance exam at an undergraduate school of your choice, and then you can enroll in the undergraduate program. For more details on this route, please contact your country's Japanese embassy or consulate general. If you're not funded by the Japanese government scholarship, in other words, if you pay, or your parents or your family pay for the tuition, or you have scholarships from other sources, for example, your country's government or foundation or company or so on, then you are in the category of privately funded international students. Okay, there are several routes to get into Osaka University if you're a privately funded student. The first is to take the regular route by taking the entrance examination for privately funded students. For this, you need to take the EJE test and send paper info applications. Then you need to come to Osaka to sit on an entrance exam. Okay, if accepted, then you will be you can directly enroll into the program of your choice. However, if you're living overseas and have completed high school overseas, we have a special entrance examination system that's conducted entirely online. I will explain this route shortly after this slide. The third and fourth schemes are for the degree program in English and also the hybrid program in science. And these two have a different or a separate application mechanisms that will be explained later. Okay, so next, please. Right. So I'll explain our special entrance examination system for international undergraduate students. This system is for you who wants to study in Osaka University in the regular Japanese programs. Okay. So the language of education will be in English. Next, please. Now, to take an admission test or interview, you don't need to come to Japan, as I mentioned before. So generally, applicants can take tests or interviews in their country. In case of last year, because of COVID, we conducted admission assessments and interviews online. We probably will do the same way this year. By the way, for your information, the deadline for this one has already passed, so I'm going to explain to you if you want to apply for the 2024 admission. Okay. So for successful applicants, we provide a preparatory education at the Center for Japanese Language and Culture of Osaka University. And there are two CJLC in Japan, and one is in Osaka University. This is for 6 months before you can enter the undergraduate school. Students who get excellent scores on the admission test will receive a scholarship from Osaka University. And this you can start getting this scholarship when you enter an undergraduate program that begins on April, in this case 2023. Okay. And we will guarantee rooms for you in one of the university's dorms for 1 year. And you can see here the Global Village Minosemba is a brand new student dormitory. Next, please. And who are eligible to apply? This is only for international students living in foreign countries. So if you have a Japanese nationality, including dual citizens, and if you live in Japan, you are not eligible to get into Osaka University through this route. Okay. You also need some high level of Japanese language proficiency, N1 or N2, or the equivalent. So meaning the equivalent means if you do not have a certificate probably because of COVID or for other reasons, then you can submit a letter of information or reference from your high school principal or Japanese language teacher that states your Japanese language capability. You have completed or are expected to complete 12-year primary and secondary education by 2022. You don't want to take EJU or any other entrance examination for the university, and you can write an essay on why you want to study here. Next, please. So this is the process. So again, this already has passed. So if you want to get into Osaka University in April 1st, 2024, then you can start applying in October 1st next year. Okay, next, please. I think Cho Sensei mentioned that there are 11 undergraduate schools. Now you can go to 10 out of 11 undergraduate schools through this route, because the School of Science does not accept students through this special entrance examination route. I think that's all from me.
Thank you, Clement Sensei. Next presenter is Paola Sensei from Graduate School of Human Sciences.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon. So my name is Paola Cavaliere, and I am the Associate Director of the Human Sciences International Undergraduate Degree Program. Next slide, please. Thank you. So the School of Human Sciences at Osaka University offers this 4-year undergraduate program fully taught in English. The goal is to give students a well-defined area in disciplinary expertise in sociology and social sciences. We offer 3 focus areas that you can see on the left-hand side of the slide: diversity and inclusion studies, Japan studies, and political and global studies. I'm going to give you just a few pieces of information about this. Diversity and inclusion focus aims at an understanding of how diverse people live and work together and how we create inclusive settings. This focus is tied to our UNESCO chair in global health and education and is appropriate for those thinking about careers in international organizations, NGOs, and NPOs. In the center of the slides, you can see some of the destinations our graduates have landed after graduation from this program. The second focus area is Japan studies, and this one invites students to study Japan from a number of angles, including its institutions, culture, history, society, as well as its global influence. And this focus will prepare you for a career in companies and organizations with a Japan focus, or as a basis for a future academic career. The third focus area is political and global studies, and this one offers a rigorous selection of courses covering domestic politics, international relations, political economy, international law, diplomacy, and East Asian and Japan-specific courses. And this is appropriate for government-related or internationally focused careers. Our program includes Japanese language education, and you don't need to know Japanese to join the program. So in this way, the students who graduate from the program will also achieve a high level of Japanese proficiency by the time they graduate. As for the learning environment that you can see on the right-hand side, in this program, you will enjoy small class sizes and opportunities to take classes with Japanese, international, and exchange students. Many of our instructors are award-winning professors who use first-hand research information and use a learner-centered approach, which enables you to develop your own research interest. And moreover, the university provides competitive fundings for undergraduate students' projects too. Next slide, please. Thank you. Well, the application period for our program opens on December 1st, and it ends on January the 18th for this round, 2022. Detailed information regarding eligibility requirements and this is available on the website, and I will invite you to visit that if you are interested. So here I will just give you a few pieces of information about the application and what the requirements, what they are. Your application should include the application form, secondary school transcripts and certificates, a language proficiency test certification with a minimum score of 85 for TOEFL and 6.5 for IELTS, and a personal statement and 2 recommendation letters. A copy of a standardized academic tests such as SAT and ACT are also welcome. These are not required, but you can submit them. A large number of our applicants are graduates from secondary schools that offer pre-university training, such as the IB program, or many others have taken, for example, AP courses. But high school certificates and transcripts that meet maxed requirements and the program eligibility criteria are, of course, acceptable. We will perform a paper-based screening first, as you can see on a slide, between January and February, and then we will invite shortlisted candidates for an interview in March, or we can interview them over Zoom. Successful candidates will be notified of screening results in late March. And then the academic year in our program follows the Western calendar. So we start in October and end in September. And that is when the new incoming first years move to Japan and join us on campus. That's it from my side. So I will leave the floor to next speaker.
Okay, thank you, Paolo Sensei. Next presenter is Luke Sensei from International College. Luke Sensei, please go ahead.
Thank you very much for your introduction. So I'm with the International College here at Osaka University, and I'm going to explain the International Undergraduate Program in Science. As Clement Sensei mentioned before, the School of Science does not have the same process for admitting international undergraduate students as the other schools in the university does. And that's because in science, English is the global language. So the program here is a hybrid program where part of the course is taught in English and part of the course is taught in Japanese. So let's look at this in detail. Next slide, please. So the IUPS course comes in 2 parts. It's a bachelor's program. At the end of it, you get a Bachelor of Science degree, majoring in either chemistry, physics, or maths. But before you start in the regular program, there's a 6 months preliminary course of Japanese language education. It's an intensive course. You learn Japanese language for about 3 to 5 hours each day of the week. After that first 6 months, then students enroll in the regular BSc program. And this is essentially the same as what Japanese domestic students take, except for the language of instruction. So in the first year, students do general education subjects, and they're all taught in English, except for Japanese language classes. So general education includes language classes. It also includes the chemistry, physics, and maths classes, and various other subjects. In the second year, students concentrate more on their core major subjects. And at the start of the second year, these are taught in English, but by the end of the year, these will be being taught in Japanese. So the language of instruction transitions from English to Japanese as the year goes on. The third year is devoted to specializations within the major subjects. I'm a chemistry lecturer, so if you're doing a chemistry major, for example, in the third year, you start to focus on, for example, organic chemistry, or maybe polymer chemistry, depending on what your interest is. And these third year classes are taught in Japanese. And the final year, the fourth year of the degree, is research. So you're no longer taking lecture courses, but now you're working in a laboratory full-time on a research project. And that usually accounts for something like 1,500 hours of work. Next slide, please. Okay, because the course is hybrid, Japanese and English, you need some degree of both Japanese and English to enroll. The level of Japanese is equivalent to JLPT M3 or better. So you don't have to be fluent in Japanese. That's the purpose of the 6 months intensive Japanese language course at the start, is to improve your Japanese. You also need a degree of English, a TOEFL score of 80 or more, or an IELTS score of 6 or more, or equivalent. You also need an appropriate university entry qualification. Many of our students have an IB, International Baccalaureate qualification. Those coming from an American system will have some kind of AP score. We can no longer take SAT scores because SAT is no longer given in science subjects. Another and quite recommended one is the EJU, which is the examination for Japanese university admission for international students. You can take this entrance examination in either English or Japanese. And any national university entrance qualification would also do. So for example, if you're from the United Kingdom or Singapore, an A-level qualification would also be good. Next slide, please. You also need a letter of recommendation from the school, preferably from a science teacher. And you also need to provide us with a couple of essays on why you wish to study at the IUPS and what topic of the science has captured your interest recently. And then finally, there's various administrative documents you need, like obviously your passport, so you can get into the country, and the application fee, things like that. Next slide, please. Okay, so if you want to apply for next year's enrollment, you need to start getting your documents together soon. Because we will be looking at the application documents in February. So that's the initial screening process. Assuming your application is complete and everything is fine, then we will invite you to an interview, which is the second stage of the application process. That will be held either here in Osaka, or possibly one of our overseas centers, for example, Shanghai, Bangkok, San Francisco, or Groningen, or most likely, due to the ongoing COVID situation, that will be an online interview. And announcement of successful applicants will be, the results will be announced in June. And successful applicants will hopefully, given COVID, be able to come into the country in September next year where they can start the Japanese language component of the course in October. Okay, that's enough from me. I'll be looking forward to your questions later on.
Okay, thank you, Luke Sensei. For those having questions about undergraduate degree program, please join us for the first Q&A session starting at 6 p.m. for half an hour. Next presenter is Aruna Sensei, who is also our university alumni and now an assistant professor at the Center for Global Initiatives. Aruna Sensei, please go ahead.
Thank you very much. I will explain the graduate admissions flow by going over some of the main phases. Next slide, please. So first, if you decide on your research topic, it will be very useful for you to find a supervisor and also find program. So you can, once you know a little bit about your research topic, you can collect information by going to different programs websites. And if you can write a draft research plan, it will be also useful later, but at this point, it doesn't have to be a very detailed, narrow plan. Next, please. And if you have a better idea on your research topic, it helps you to find a possible supervisor. So you can first either go to program or graduate schools websites, and most programs website, they list their faculty's information, what they published, what is their research area, etc. Or you can also go to this researchers database, and on the screen you see the QR code and the link. If you go to this website, you can search faculties by the research field or by department, but you can search wider just by typing some keywords. And some faculties might be doing research very relevant, close to your interest, but might be belonging to a department that doesn't represent their research topic. So it's important to search wider. Next, please. And once you know prospective supervisor that you would like to apply, you can use this admissions assistance desk to connect to the supervisor. So basically this desk connects the students with the faculties by giving some guidance on what kind of documents to prepare and sending your documents to the faculties and getting a response from the faculties whether they will be interested in supervising you or not. And it's important to apply to this desk in advance, because if you receive a positive result, you would need to then apply to the graduate schools under that professor. Next, please. And most programs require students to first come to Osaka University as a research student. And it is a non-degree, a short-term program. Usually students during this time prepare for their entrance exams for either master's and PhD programs. Next, please. And then you will apply to the actual program, and by submitting the documents and taking written exam and an interview. And next, please. And this depends on by the graduate schools, exactly what kind of exam or interview. Next, please. And you can start your program from either April or October, depending on the program. All programs will have an entrance. Most programs will have an entrance enrollment date from April, and some will have from October. And if you are interested in graduate schools, you can join our information session later at 6:30 p.m. in Japan time. So, which is about after 50 minutes or so, about after 50 minutes, you can join. And for that, you can click on the link that's just sent in the chat. Next, please. Also, we have a graduate degree program in English. So these programs are entirely taught in English. And during the information session, you can also ask about these programs. And we have about 12 programs, master's or PhD programs across 4 different graduate schools. And here you see the name of the program and also the application period and enrollment. So each program is very different. So you need to read the guidance and the information from the website. And if you go to this program's website, you will find them. So to find them, please scan this QR code on the page. And there are two QR codes. On the one at the left is our admissions guide that will cover all the programs, and that will be very useful. So I would recommend all the students to scan this QR code. And the one on the right is English degree program pamphlet. So if you're interested in degree programs in English, please go to this website. And next, please. And we have also double degree programs. We have 38 programs with universities that's written here. And if you enroll into these double degree programs, you will complete part of your program in these universities and part of the program at Osaka University. So for more information, please go to the website by scanning the QR code. Next, please. Next, please. And we also have exchange programs. We have academic exchange agreements with over 600 universities and students. If you are enrolled in one of these universities, you can come to Osaka University for short term. And on the screen, you see the different types of the program, for example, lab exchange or cultural exchange, or programs in English or in Japanese, and the language skills necessary to participate in these programs, and also the duration. So there is a quite range of programs from 3 months all the way to 1 year. So if you don't know if your university is a partner with us or not, please go to this website at the bottom of the screen. Next slide, please. Also, we have another program for students enrolled in any universities around the world. So this is a Japanese language program and conducted in summer and also winter from 4 weeks to 8 weeks. And if you are interested in participating in this program, you also have to be recommended by your university, but your university doesn't have to be a partner with us. But it's only for university students. And next, please. So you might be wondering about tuition fees. The tuition fee for undergraduate and graduate students is fixed, both for domestic and also international students. By today's rate, it's about $4,700. And also we have an enrollment or entrance fee. When you first enter the university, you have to pay about $2,500. And then also there's an entrance exam fee when you first submit your documents. And the fees for research student is also different. Tuition fees by month, and it's less than the degree program. And next, please. So as for cost of living per month, based on privately financed international students living in Osaka, and you see the source at the bottom. Students in Osaka spend about $800 by today's rate, including the fees for rent, food, utility charges, commuting expenses, insurance, etc. But of course, it will depend on the student's lifestyle and whether they are single or family, etc. And this is cheaper than Tokyo by about 10,000 yen. But still, it's you can still get the big city life, but also a little cheaper than living in Tokyo. Next, please. As for financial aid, you can get the Japanese government scholarship by applying to the embassy or the consulate in your country or region. And also for graduate students, you can check if you can come as a university recommended scholar student. Some of the programs, not all programs, but only a few, some of the programs might offer university recommendation scholarship. So for this, you need to check if the program that you are interested in will offer this scholarship. And also we have tuition fee waiver for students facing various financial difficulties. And for this, you have to apply after you are enrolled. So after you come to Osaka, you can apply to this fee waiver. And it's not guaranteed. And students have to apply students have to apply every semester. And also there are various scholarships at each schools, and also private scholarships from other foundations and companies. And next, please. We also have, we have 8 dormitories with different price ranges, and you can find the information from the QR code at the bottom. And some of these dorms, if you go to the next slide, please, are brand new. For example, this one is located at Mino campus called Mino Senba. And this dorm provides private rooms, and you can see the equipment provided in each room. And next slide is Global Village Tsukumadai, closer to Suita campus. And this dorm provides shared utilities and also private spaces. Next slide, please. And here you can see some photos from this dorm. You can see the living room, shared kitchen space, and also shared common room for students to read and hang out, and also laundry room. Next, please. Also, we have student center and support office at each campus. So these centers provide students counseling services and other career centers, useful information. But also we have support office for international students and scholars, and they provide various support guides, and you can find them on their website. Adjusting to Osaka, living in Osaka, finding housing information, etc. And so you can find their website by going to this QR code. And next, please. And of course, you can find more information from our website. And here's our website. And next one, please. We also have social media websites, pages on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And on YouTube, we have recordings of similar sessions describing our university and programs in different languages. So you can also check those videos. I think that's it for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Haruna Sensei. Well, that's all for today's live session. Thank you for sharing your time with us. We hope you enjoy learning about Osaka University. We're looking forward to meeting you in the future. Let us help you make your dream come true here in Osaka. Enjoy the rest of the EJE 2021. Thank you.